There is a certain kind of exhaustion that doesn't come from doing too much, but from being too responsible for too long. It's the exhaustion of someone who learned early that stability depended on them. If this feels familiar, stay with us. Like, share, and subscribe for deeper conversations on trauma, survival patterns, and healing. Someone who became reliable before they were allowed to be reckless. Someone who learned how to read a room, manage emotions, and prevent disasters long before they learned how to rest. If you feel an almost compulsive need to fix people, to stabilize situations, to carry emotional weight that isn't yours, this didn't come out of nowhere. It was trained into you. And it has a name. It's called parentification.
Parentification is not simply growing up fast or being wise beyond your years. It is a psychological role reversal in which a child is placed explicitly or implicitly into the role of a caregiver. There are two primary forms. Instrumental parentification happens when a child takes on practical responsibilities beyond their developmental capacity, managing finances, caring for siblings, cooking, cleaning, or acting as a substitute adult in the household. Emotional parentification is more invisible and often more damaging. This occurs when a child becomes the emotional regulator for a parent or family system. They become the listener, the comforter, the mediator, the one who absorbs anxiety, anger, grief, or instability so others don't have to. This is not the same as being mature. Maturity develops gradually and is supported. Parentification is forced, chronic, and often unacknowledged. It doesn't come with guidance, it comes with pressure. And because parentified children often appear competent, calm, and capable, the damage is frequently overlooked. Society praises them, families rely on them, teachers admire them. No one asks what it cost. How parentification starts in childhood. Parentification doesn't begin because a child volunteers to be strong. It begins because the environment demands it. It often arises in households where parents are emotionally unavailable, unstable, or psychologically immature, where the child senses that their own needs are too much for the adults around them. Some children become mediators in parental conflict, learning to translate emotions, soothe tensions, or prevent explosions. Others become the emotional caretaker of siblings, or worse, of their parents, listening to adult fears, adult disappointments, adult rage. In homes shaped by addiction, chronic illness, untreated mental health issues, or chaos, children learn quickly that someone has to hold things together, and if no adult can or will, the child steps in. Not because they want to, because the alternative feels terrifying. The political contract you were forced into. Parentification creates an unspoken psychological contract. You're allowed to belong as long as you are useful. Love becomes conditional, not explicitly, but experientially. Affection comes after responsibility. Safety follows performance. Over time, the child internalizes a dangerous belief. Other people's emotions are my responsibility. They learn to monitor moods, anticipate needs, and prevent distress before it surfaces. They believe, often unconsciously, that if they don't stay vigilant, everything will collapse. This belief doesn't disappear with age, it hardens.
Why you feel compelled to fix people as an adult. As an adult, the parentified child often becomes hyper-responsible. Other people's problems feel urgent, magnetic, impossible to ignore. You mistake control for care. You step in quickly,
offering solutions, advice, emotional labor, because helping feels like safety, because being needed feels like worth. Fixing others becomes a way to regulate your own anxiety. If everyone is okay, then you can relax. If you're useful, you won't be abandoned. The problem is that this isn't connection. It's survival replaying itself. The guilt response when you don't help. When you try to stop fixing, something flares inside you. Guilt. Not mild guilt, but a deep, visceral sense that you are doing something wrong, that you are selfish, cold, cruel. Setting boundaries triggers anxiety because your nervous system associates withdrawal with danger. You learned early that stepping back led to chaos or punishment or emotional withdrawal. So even when helping costs you sleep, peace, or sanity, saying no feels worse, at least at first. How parentification shapes your identity. Over time, parentification stops being something you do and becomes who you are. You overfunction automatically. You manage, organize, stabilize, anticipate. You struggle to identify your own needs because you were trained to ignore them. Your self-worth becomes tied to competence, to usefulness, to being the one who can handle things. Rest feels undeserved. Need feels embarrassing. Receiving feels uncomfortable.
Relationship patterns that repeat the wound. Unresolved parentification doesn't stay in childhood, it recreates itself in adult relationships. You may attract emotionally dependent, unstable, or broken partners. You become the therapist, the rescuer, the emotional anchor. Healthy relationships, where responsibility is shared, may feel boring, unsafe, or unfamiliar. Without crisis, you don't know where you fit, because no one ever taught you that you are allowed to exist without fixing. The emotional cost no one talks about. Chronic caretaking comes at a price. Burnout that sleep doesn't fix. Emotional exhaustion that never fully lifts. Anger you don't feel allowed to express. Resentment builds quietly beneath your generosity. And eventually, emotional numbness sets in, not because you don't care, but because caring has cost too much for too long. Why rest feels unsafe. For the parentified child, rest is not neutral. Rest feels like negligence. Your body stays in a state of hypervigilance, listening for emotional alarms, scanning for instability. When things are calm, you wait for the other shoe to drop. Stopping feels like abandonment, like failure, like something bad will happen if you aren't watching. So you stay alert, even when you're exhausted. The hidden grief of the parentified child. There is a grief that many parentified adults never allow themselves to feel. Grief for the childhood you didn't get, for the needs that were never met or even named, for the version of you that didn't get to be messy, needy, protected. There is anger too, anger at being strong too early, at being praised for endurance instead of cared for. This grief doesn't make you ungrateful. It makes you honest.
Society loves parentified people. It calls them old souls, praises their self-sacrifice, rewards emotional labor, especially when it's invisible and unpaid. Cultural and familial narratives often glorify endurance, silence, and resilience without reciprocity. You are celebrated for surviving, never asked whether you should have had to. Healing begins when you separate empathy from responsibility. You can care without carrying. You can support without rescuing. You can allow others to experience their own consequences without abandoning them. This feels wrong at first, unnatural, even cruel, But it is not cruelty, it is correction. Reclaiming your own needs. Reclaiming yourself means asking a radical question. What do I want without justification? Not what's reasonable, not what hurts the least, not what keeps everyone comfortable, what you want. This requires practicing self-permission instead of self-explanation, allowing desire to exist without earning it, and learning, slowly, to receive.
Boundaries will trigger fear and shame because they disrupt old survival patterns. You may feel like you are being unkind, but kindness without self-protection is self-abandonment. Real boundaries allow discomfort to exist without rushing to soothe it. Not every feeling needs fixing, including other people's. Healing without becoming hard or cold. Healing does not require becoming distant, detached, or emotionally closed. You don't need to lose your softness. You need to include yourself in it. Care without control, compassion without self-erasure, softness that doesn't require sacrifice. You were never meant to hold everything together. You were meant to be held, too. And learning that, slowly, imperfectly, is how the parentified child finally comes home to themselves. If this helped you feel seen, consider liking, sharing, and subscribing. Healing starts with understanding, and understanding gets easier when we do it together.